welcome back to Show Me Trucks. Hey, in this video I'm going to grind down the welds on that panel I made for the back camper door. It turned out way better than I thought. I'm real excited about it. So I grinded all that down, took a long time. I also welded up like 20 something holes in it. And I put a screen door on the back door. And I got these camper emblems up also. And then the very end of the channel, I'm going to Joshua Tree this weekend. Gonna take the truck off-road a little bit, so I aired up the truck, see what kind of clearance I have. The crossmember has like 6 inches of clearance, but the control arms only have like 3 inches of clearance. So I would love not to rip the bolts holding my airbags off, or get stuck, or get stranded in the desert. So it's jacked up. It looks kind of ridiculous this high on these little wheels, but it is what it is. Until I switch my truck to 4-wheel drive, this is what I got. Alright, so hope you guys enjoy. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Here we go. Let me know what you guys think about me fast forwarding these videos. I kind of like doing it like this because I can listen to music with my headphones and still get a lot of stuff done. And I don't want to waste you guys' time just me talking about theories of why I do things. So let's go. I just screwed down this panel to my wooden bench. I'm grinding that edge. It was hanging over a little bit on the side, and then you'll see I clamp all this aluminum up to this I-beam I have, because aluminum and steel don't weld together, so it helps me fill up the holes. It doesn't let the aluminum fall down through the hole. It kind of builds up underneath there. So it's not that bad. Aluminum is a little touchy, but if you get that puddle started, you can just kind of dump in some thicker wire real quick. And then once it kind of fills in, I just do another circle around and kind of blend all that aluminum back in. There is a lot of holes on this, probably 20 something holes. Like I said, this is free aluminum I got from picking up some scrap a while back. Super happy how it turned out. Yeah, it's some work to fill it up, but the angles and stuff, I don't even know where I'd go to buy that unless I went to a carpet store, because I think that's what it was used for. I know in the other video I talked about I was thinking about leaving all that weld on there, but I'm happy that I grinded it down. Grinding aluminum or grinding everything sucks. So I was a little hesitant, and usually it doesn't turn out well. There's little pits and stuff, but this actually was pretty good. I used the angle grinder. I just kind of blasted it off. I think that's maybe 60 grit, flap disc, or 80. I'm not really sure. It just took down the big welds, and then later you'll see I go in with a orbital sander and knock it down a little more. But these little corners, I just tried to grind and keep the same angle as the metal. Like I said, if it's not perfect, it is what it is. But I used some 180 and some 220 grit just to smooth any other little scratches out. I also tried to polish up one little corner just to see what it looked like. I didn't really actually want to do the whole thing, but it turned out better than I thought. I was pretty excited. I got this little polishing buffing pad, or whatever you want to call it, for the die grinder, and just cleaned it up with a little acetone. It'd be okay if I was going that direction, but my truck looks a little rougher. I kind of like that brushed aluminum look a little more, so I went back and scuffed all that back down with the 180 just to make it blend in, because I don't plan on polishing the outside of my camper anytime soon, and I don't plan on polishing the inside of the camper. So I didn't want to go that deep. I could do that later if I really have a lot of free time and nothing better to do, but I don't have that much free time to be polishing everything on my truck, because the rest of my truck looks rough. And so in this process, there's a lot of putting the panel back on, making sure everything looks okay, throwing all these screws in, which takes a while each time. You'll also notice I'm using a screwdriver instead of my drill on some of these, just to make sure I don't strip out the aluminum. I just want to put those little latch levers back on and test fit everything, make sure everything could swing and move around. And so here's a little peek of it. Look good. I bring the screen out. I had to go buy another screen. I think that was $9. My dog wanted to come and hang out, so took everything right back off that I just put back on. So what I'm doing is I'm doing little pilot holes for these screws, and the same as before. I'm kind of holding the tin up tight and then drilling the hole, which kind of made it harder later because I have to like make sure the hole of the tin and the hole of the aluminum line back up. But I just ran these screws in. I like to run 3 in the corner just to make sure whenever I pull to keep everything snug. I didn't rip the screen off too much, but it did take quite a while. I used the drill on this top part because I wasn't really pulling super hard. I was pulling sideways to keep tension, and then here I'm pulling down to keep tension. And then I put the hinges on top of the screen. That way, whenever it's all together, you can't see the screen on top of my hinge mounts. But on the bottom, I use the screwdriver because I am pulling a lot of tension. It was kind of difficult the way the screen is set up on here to keep it real tight the whole time. But it worked out. I had to cut some little holes where the shafts for the knobs came out. But this screen door was fine. I knew that just like on the camper, I had the panels that cover up the screws. Well, I just made the other panel, so however the screws look, they're not centered, anything like that. I just wanted to make sure that they sat underneath that panel that's about to go on it. So put the panel back on. Looks great. I was really excited. This is one of the projects I'm actually excited that it turned out better than I expected. A lot of my truck stuff does not. I have ideas that it's going to turn out perfect, everything's going to go smooth, and it just doesn't, and I get frustrated. This turned out fine. I mean, a lot of work. I spent a whole day grinding, so if that gives you perspective, I probably spent at least 2 days, maybe 3 days on just a panel for the back of my screen door. Like, that gives you a perspective of how much labor it would cost if you did a camper show like this. People that get gung-ho on wanting the best car show car have no idea how much it's going to cost. Most shops, $50 to $150 an hour. This kind of labor takes a lot of money. And I know a lot of you other guys have it. I don't. So I like doing it myself, and I like the process. I like building the truck. I like building these panels. I just like putting in the craftsmanship and learning. That's the only way you get better is practice. So I got to foot the bill for it. So, you know, that's what's happening. My dog was checking it out, but you saw me put those knobs on there. I don't have 2 knobs for the back, so if anybody has those plastic knobs, that one I just put on is stripped out. Someone must have tried to keep cranking on it while they were shutting it or something, but it's stripped out, so I'm still on the lookout for 2 of those round plastic black knobs. I've seen a lot of people use the aluminum ones, but I didn't want those. All I'm doing here is putting the hinges back on, screwing them back in there. They're kind of hard to fit the screwdriver and line up the screw in, but happy how it turned out. Again, not bragging on myself. I'm excited because most of my other stuff has its flaws that drive me crazy, and this does too, but I'm not stressing it at all. So pretty excited. The next thing I need to do, which maybe tomorrow, is go buy a door handle, because when you shut the door, it's actually hard to open it back up because it's so tight to the tailgate. So in the middle, I would just like a little door handle. But that's what the door looks like in the camper, through the little screw on, so it can't slide side to side. But there is the beast. I was looking at the engine. Alright, so here's the emblems I'm putting on. I just wanted to lay them out. I ordered these little, what they call bullet clips. These are little, I think, 1/8 inch clips. You just press the shaft through them. They kind of expand whenever you push them through. But since I have aluminum panels, I was a little nervous of tearing it up. So just to make sure I only have to do this once, now I have a bunch of holes in my camper. I made these little templates, laid out the emblems exactly how I wanted, and then traced around them. That way I could hold that up to the camper and kind of test fit it and make sure I only had to drill holes once and make sure it looked right. I like how the other side looks better, but I had to do this side this way. So I wanted to tuck it up into that corner, but I didn't. So put those little clips in, kind of hammered them in. There's wood behind there, so I had to be a little careful. And then just kind of press these in, and I used a little board and hammer to kind of hit those flat. I didn't want to push too hard because they seem a little fragile, as all this old stuff is. So just hammered it up. This side looks nice. Last but not least, going to Joshua Tree, so I jacked up the back end, jacked up the front, just trying to see what kind of clearance I have. Trying to push it up by hand, hoping I could raise it up a little more, but that's what she looks like later.